let's take a look at some of the detailing that we've been doing. Okay, so as you can see, we got the reflectors on, and as always, just like even in the real world, some of them come off as fast as you put them on. And that's just what happens. We may replace some, we may leave some. That's just what happens. We got all the decals on. We got our little U50 placard there. We got our little American flag. We got our Swarovskis in place. And we got our number boards up. Is that good, right? Ooh. Hopefully I didn't wreck that one. Okay, and then I'm going to show you about the panel lining. Okay, but overall, let's just take an overall look. Overall, the shell's looking pretty good. Now this horn here will get fixed when we're done, because when it's done, it goes down and you have to bend it up to get the shell off. But you can actually go ahead and see. Well, it's kind of hard with the reflection here. And I left, okay, on the camera, this looks really, this screen looks really bright. But when you are back here where I am, you can't, the camera can illuminate that way better than really can. What I can see is I can just see the outline of the big blower in there. Okay, remember we had that discoloration right there? We just left it. Now you can also see the panel lining. In this close up, it looks really wavy. Like I said, this is very low relief. The only way I could get any panel lining was I had to use a pen. I had to use the pen. So I'd use a 003 pen. I tried using the Scribe, an actual, let's see if I can show it to you. I remember where I put him. Here he is. So I tried India ink, and then I remembered, see, this is the guy you use with India ink, little fountain pen. But since this is clear coated, India ink is a no-go. But now from here, you can't see that those lines are really wavy until you zoom way in. Then, and I can't see how wavy they are without using high power glasses. But this camera can definitely see how wavy they are. Okay, only the camera can see this. You can't see that with your eyes. Those lines that go through those numbers, I think, are super important. They make the decals stand out way better. So when we go back to here, now it looks like the lettering is really on there. And you can just, from even 8 inches away, I can't see that they're wavy, and I'm wearing high power glasses right now. So we got reflectors on. Yeah, they're coming off like they always do. We got our flags, and we got our plaques. We got our Swarovskis in the rear. We got our one Swarovski. So this thing doesn't have a headlight or rear lights. And I don't have this locked down yet. So we can take him off. But as you can see, we made it to the candy coating that we were looking for. Now that right there is what I want. Okay, I can make it shine by reflecting it off the light, but on the layout, it won't shine this way. It doesn't look shiny and new, but it definitely stands out. It has a slight wet look, as if it had been in winter with water all over it. Well, it was melting snow. And so from back here a little ways, like as far as this is, even with my, okay, if I take my glasses off, I cannot tell anything. I can see that you can hardly see the doors on this thing at all. All these doors are scribed in here so shallow that it made it really hard. And it's a lot of painstaking labor. But there are several ways to do it. You can use panel liner, which does not work when the relief is so low. It just doesn't work. It just runs everywhere. You can use the fountain pen wherever I put that. I think I put it back. You can use that, but you can't use that if you've clear coated it, which I have. It's in matte finish right now. These artist pens are pretty good. 003, small one, could get those lines a little bit. I think enough. Now let's take a look also at the crane. So here's the crane. He's got his glass in. So the Brute here, he's got his glass in. Windows are in. Everything. His cab is done. So we got the glass in here, and we got this guy in his matte. This is matte finish. Now it may look a bit shiny for some people who are used to seeing a satin finish on something brand new. But on the layout, these guys look great on the layout. And that paint, so when I tell you, when you're using contrast paints, forget about brush strokes. All they do is they add some character, and you get something that looks like that. Let's get down here and take a look at him. Let's see, what does he look like? Now this is camera angle on this guy, and he does have, because his relief is deep, that is panel liner. That's panel liner. When it's deep, panel liner is amazing. You can't beat it. It looks pretty good. We're not going to worry about lights and stuff. This crane is not getting anything special other than this coat of paint and getting restrung. But it turned out really good. That's the magic of contrast paint, is we get that kind of a look to it. That's what we want. That's what we go for. Okay, now let's take a look one more time here at Brute here. The detailing. Most of the detailing is on the handrails. Got to get touched up because they keep breaking off, like brass handrails like to do. Let's turn this guy. Okay. Now, let's talk a little bit about where we're going with the mechanical. All right, so there are two motors pointing towards each other in here. This thing is locked down to its underframe with these three things. This middle one has got to get cut out still, because there's going to be wiring and decoder and everything, and it cannot go down over the top of the wiring. The other thing is, I have a DH126D that I want to use, or a 166D, which has 4 light functions, but I don't have 4 lights to put on here that need light function. We're going to do our red lights. Both of these fan housings are going to be lit with red, plus the trucks are going to have some red lighting. But check the cab back. Back side of the cab is solid, and the cab is integrated into the walkway. If I was to try to put a cab light in, we already saw that you can't put headlights in this. That labor, it just isn't worth it. Because here's the thing, you have to do maintenance or anything, this shell's got to come off. And that means drilling through the front here, drilling through the back of the cab, and then putting wires in that are long enough so when you pick this up, you can do something to get a disconnect and disconnect them. That's too much. We're not doing that. It's kind of a shame there's not going to be a light in the cab unless I figure out something from underneath later. We'll see, because this thing sits on some floating truss. We'll get to the mechanical in a little bit. Mechanical's already underway. But as far as the shell goes, the shell is very close to the end. And we will finish up any finishing touches after the mechanical is done and we're starting to set down the shell in its final position. But right now, I'm quite pleased with the way this turned out. This paint job turned out to be exactly what we wanted. Looks exactly the way I wanted it to look. Slight wet look. Letters are clear, clean, easy to read. And hey, I like big numbers on my locomotives because my eyesight isn't that good and I have to wear glasses a lot. Whenever I work up close, I got 20 different pairs of glasses. But on the layout, it is really nice to have a readable number. And I know a lot of you guys can relate to that. Having a readable number is really important. And you can select it in your engine driver or your throttle, and you can see exactly who's what. But so far, I don't know, it looks good. I like it. We're gonna keep it this way for now. I might fix some of the reflectors that have fallen off. These are actual Scotchlite reflectors, the same ones that they use on the side of real trains, but just like the real thing, they have a tendency to come apart and fall off frequently. And I have scored trackside some big sheets of Scotchlite that I just took and washed because they're still good, and you can find them in various places. Looking good. I think we're on the right track, and it's now time to switch gears and get into mechanical.